Welcome to IJustWatched. I'm Joseph, and we're here to discuss The Iron Claw. Spoiler warning, just in case you haven't seen the movie or know the Von Erich story. I was curious, excited, and a bit worried because the Von Erich story is a tough one. It's a tragedy. Before I really jump into it, when I've had conversations about it, the biggest thing or nitpick, honestly, is the fact that we're like Efron, the way he got built, he looked more like Kerry than he did Kevin. However, it didn't matter because I think everyone in this destroyed it in such a wonderful way. The way they brought the story to life, I think, decently accurate. Yes, of course, it's a movie. Not everything is there. I mean, they cut out an entire brother, and the director came out and said, because I was like, why'd they cut him out completely? And he said straight up, because of time. They didn't have enough time to fit in his story as well. So they kind of combined his story with Mikey. And it made sense, after I saw the movie and the way he discussed it when I was reading the article. I was like, I kind of understand it. And the movie was so well done, it didn't really affect me because I felt like everything else was so accurate. They were really focused on the wrestling, on the way it affected their family, the way these boys grew up, and how it came to be. The only other thing that they kind of really skip over, because this story is about the Von Erich boys, is the fact that the father, they mentioned, where the Von Erich name comes from, but they skipped over the fact that he was a Nazi heel in his heyday and he never won the belt, which was clear in the movie, but they kind of skipped his villain arc and how they transitioned his boys to the heroes. And even if you were a hero outside the ring, if you came to their arena, they were the heroes. You was the villain. And it worked. I like the way they played it, the way they told the story. Every one of these kids knocked it out of the park. I say kids, they might be older than me. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I also was kind of caught off guard. I mean, I saw A24. I was like, okay, cool. They either love it or hate it kind of thing for him. However, I saw BBC come on. I said, BBC? This is a Texas story. What is BBC doing here? It was just funny. It's not important. It was just something that caught me off guard. And I do understand why they picked Zach for Kevin, because he carries this movie. Don't get me wrong. I think everyone has a good amount of screen time and they have their moments. I mean, my boy, Jeremy Allen White, or better known as Lip, he is amazing. He also got huge and everyone just delivered. So it was fantastic. But those crazy, dramatic, emotional moments of losing everything, I think Zach killed it. He delivered that every time he lost a brother. I like the little dramatic effect that they added when he carried his brother in after he commits suicide. And then you even see them, the boys, together again in their version of heaven in this prairie with the lake with their youngest, and little things like that that I didn't expect. And at first was like, I don't know how I feel about this. It worked for me. Even if they didn't had it, I wouldn't have been upset, but it's something that I didn't expect for this kind of movie, and it worked. I still liked it. It didn't take me out of the situation. I still felt for it. And I mean, I was already a fan of most of these kids. The one thing I would have liked was a little bit more of the Texas tornado aspect, because they did kind of jump through that. And my biggest personal issue with this movie, and it's nothing against this actor, is my boy who portrayed Ric Flair. The silhouette, or from behind, he looked like Ric Flair. I was ready to give him woo! But when he was looking at the camera and selling that he was gonna beat you into the ground because he's having a hard time keeping these Alec, that moment when he was doing that, I was like, ooh, that's not Ric Flair. That's cosplay. And I was like, that's a fan doing that. I was like, that's me doing the voice. I'm not gonna knock it out the park. Ric Flair had this persona. He had this flair to it. When he was on the mic, I was take a step back. He was killing it. And that was the one part he couldn't sell me on, and that's, to me, is the biggest part of Ric Flair. He hit you with your classic lines. He said them. It was his delivery. It just didn't hit for me. But it just it needed tweaking, and that was really a personal thing. It didn't make me dislike the movie. It didn't really make me dislike his character. I did love later when you see him bleeding after fucking got the iron claw to the head and homeboy lost it. I liked how he came in and he was like, I thought you was gonna be a bitch. I'll wrestle with you any day. You just let me know. I had a great time. Where's the booze? Where's the bitches? Where's the drugs? I was like, all right, I mean, that does sound kind of like Ric Flair in that moment. But it was just his promo piece, his call to action, his fucking that didn't sell me. Overall, fantastic movie. One of the best movies of the year for sure for me. Highly recommended. Definitely rewatchable. I want to watch it again because there's a lot of little bits that I really enjoyed. I love the dynamic of the family, the way they touch a little bit on each one, how the wrestling was their thing, but they all had that little bit that they tried to enjoy outside of it to find some kind of balance in life, and how their dad was straight up kind of a savage. And from what I've read, he might have been even worse in real life than they portrayed him in the movie. But I want to hear your thoughts. This did kind of make me want more wrestling biopics. I mean, I have a bit of a theory, or more of a an idea I think would be great when it comes to wrestling and making biopics. And it could be done. We'll chat about that later. I definitely want to hear your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. You know I love chatting with y'all. But until next time, stay safe, be well, y con mucho amor. Adios.